Warning, if you're faint of heart or easily offended, this show is not for you.
All right, welcome back to the Nick Vertucci Show. This is part 2 with my co-host Veronica Brill, Christian Soto, and the poker boss, Sean McCormack. Let's go. Bring your motherfucking receipt and show us so we could support you. If not, shut the fuck up. Come out hot, if I can ask you about Jacob.
We had an inappropriately close friendship.
Okay, I'm going to press you.
The casinos cheat.
They cheat how?
What's up, guys?
You're right, you're wrong, you're right. What am I going to put on a pair of glasses and a
nose,
nose
I
and
remember.
walk in?
Telling everybody I'm the best.
I can't punt. That would look bad.
The mental anguish.
This is what my plan was from the beginning, is that nobody remembers her name.
So, Christian, you're doing commentary and you're watching these big games. You did the $1 Million Cash game. We just had our second iteration of it. And now this game last night. And I asked Sean, what's the impact on poker? And we got the Sean answer. I want the Christian answer of what all of this stuff is, how it's impacting poker and how you see it impacting poker.
Wow, that's a deep question. Like I said, to me, yesterday specifically was more of an international reach. Like seeing the reach from all the Brazil fans. And this is the thing, like when I'm in Vegas and I'm playing, there are like people from Brazil, like that play consistently, and they bring like their like little squad. They stay at the Mandarin, I believe. No, wait, not the Mandarin, the Meridian. And they all just sort of like come and they grind.
That's the Brazilian hotel. A
lot of international guys. They stay there, and then, but like I never seen them in droves in a chat.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, this is like pretty incredible. And I'm like, if we could just keep doing this, it could be something big, right? Because there's an Indian community as well, right? And there's like the Chinese and maybe we could just like sort of tap into these communities, and I think that's what GG started doing really well. And they started taking over, right? Like they've surpassed PokerStars. And what they did was sort of like set up, like they got Felipe in Brazil. They got like other people in different parts. And like it brought this sort of like recreational base based on all the like influencers that they started like patching up.
They do micro influencing for each country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's sharp.
Yeah.
And then they all play now in this pool together, and they've just surpassed PokerStars, surpassed Party Poker, and they became the biggest site. And maybe this is just sort of an insight into how that works. Anyway, long-winded answer.
It's just all about diversifying the product. Yeah. And we have the fortune that we have a product that transcends all of these other products. You bring Neymar in. Fantastic guess. Obviously the reach is something you'll be looking at the analytics for years on this. Like you really will. It's that massive and it's going to be that great. But it's not like you and I going to go play soccer tomorrow.
No, of course.
It's not like you had Jimmy Butler, we're going to go play basketball, although I play hoops.
Right.
But not everybody does. It's not like we're all going to go out and be investors like Alan Keating. That's not what binds us together. It's the game of poker.
Correct.
They all love that game. So we, in this crazy industry that we have almost a responsibility to them, one, to say thank you for coming into our game, but
Absolutely.
to promote the game the way they want to. And there's so many ways to do this. Like I was saying earlier, High Stakes Poker Productions does it differently than Poker Go. And I love that. I just love that. And kind of how I look at the two products, and maybe this is not the best example, but maybe we'll follow along. It's like take Poker News and Poker.org. Great, both are great in their own right, but the products couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
Poker News is very serious. They're your, if you're doing something very high level, you're the Olympics, you want those sideline reporters, you want the facts and you want them right. And not that Poker.org misses the mark in that spot, but what Poker.org does differently, they treat it more community based. You know the names of all these people that work for them. You're attaching to these people and you're globbing onto them in a different way. And you guys, different from Poker Go, are doing the same thing. Poker Go does it in a very unique way, especially for the high roller series and stuff like that. Like Nobody wants to see some, like high-level tournament player on Hustler Casino sitting there with headphones. That's not what it's about. But they love seeing it on Poker Go. You have a tournament audience that wants to play one day, 100Ks, 10Ks,
for sure,
50Ks, 25Ks. That's cool. So they like that. And I like both. And then you'll have those people in both camps. I can appreciate the Poker Go product for what it is, and still be able to come up with a hustle product and appreciate it.
That's what most people in the poker community have to. There's just some, and I'm not referring to like we think I'm making a thing, but there's a lot of people out there that are only like, oh, I just like Hustler. That's so boring. Or this is like so pure and this is nonsense. I think we got to get away from that, because all of it's bringing people to poker. And obviously now it's proven there's a huge market for all of it. Even the stuff that you wouldn't have thought when we started this would maybe even be received. Right. And so to your point, like both are needed. Both have to stay for sure. And I think Poker Go does an amazing job.
Oh,
so good.
Poker Go crushes it.
So good.
Yeah, absolutely. They crush it.
100%.
That production quality is A+. Absolutely. And the fact that they have an entire studio to work with, it's nice. That budget's probably pretty good too.
The behind the scenes of Poker Go is pretty cool too. Yeah. Like it's really, really cool. And if you ever commentate for us, we got some AC in there for you. Don't worry, we got you. But
nice.
It's Vegas. It's all central area, so we got to do that. We got you covered.
And then stay there.
Bye.
Bye. No. That's what you do when someone's drawn dead. Bye.
I thought you ran to the Hustler when you came and hugged me. I thought you literally were running outside for 2 hours. Then you came over and you're soaking wet.
Yeah, I came downstairs. I was soaking wet, and I apologize to you.
Hey, Sean Yabel, if you're listening.
No.
Okay, no, listen.
It's hell in that booth,
see,
Sean.
This is why we keep asking for air to be ducked into there. This is why. It's not
Christian
me.
Soto.
Poor Christian Soto. Look at him. He's withering away.
I should wither away a little more, actually. I should
Sean,
wither away a couple more
I know you're
going to
watch. Please give us air. Please,
it's all good. I mean, whatever.
Mrs. Flint, can we get air? Can we please get air?
It's fine. I mean, honestly, I was just happy that nobody noticed, because I was, the show's more important to me, and I was like, okay, make sure like we keep the energy up. So it's fine. Whatever. We'll figure it out later if I come back.
Well, I'll tell you this: the commentary was so good. Maybe sweaty is your element.
Maybe that's
we
what
just
it is.
keep you in
no
the sweat
shirt,
box.
In the
just
zone.
Let's go.
Let's go. Like no, that was fantastic. But yeah, I love all the other streams. Like you were saying, like I'm a fan of the Poker Go streams. Like I'm a fan of the Triton streams. Like to me, the Triton stream is just so professional and like all this stuff. And I'm obviously a fan of Hustler too. And it's like, I watch all these products, right? So, but to me, they're all very different, and they all have their own sort of like vibe and appeal. Like I like watching Daniel like in the Poker Go studio, like trying to vibe for another tournament, like the comeback after the WSOP losses. Like that was amazing, right? Like that story arc is great, right? The Triton with like Jason Kuhn winning every day. Like, okay, good for you. Damn it, the guy's good.
He's pretty good, yeah.
Dude, I like gritty shit. I would watch an illegal live stream from a fucking jail.
Facts.
I love grimy, gritty basement poker. I love when a live stream first comes up. And don't get me wrong, I love Hustler and stuff, but like when a live stream first comes up and like it's grimy, you can't see the chips.
It's kind of like how
I love it. I love it.
It's kind of like how I like comedy shows. I either like super high level, the Kevin Hart's of the world, or I like the guy that's looking through his book and he's nervously sweating on stage and it's his first time.
That's cool too.
I love that.
And he just kills one really good joke. And you're like, fuck yeah, I came here for that.
And that's his,
and it's his moment.
That's his bar poker league.
Right, yeah.
That's his opening to, and
all
who
of
knows,
it's good.
You'll be at the Apollo one day or whatever
Right.
they do comedy these days. But, it's like, I love that. I love the rawness.
Yeah.
So that's how I actually found, and we're not going to mention the show that we were involved, but we all know where it was.
You can say it. Say Stones.
Stones.
Yeah, I mean,
we used to play at
it's not
Stones.
like it's not like
Live
Stones
at the
is a bad
Bike,
word, but-
2005. Dave Tuckman and Bart Hansen were sitting between two plants doing commentary, and then jumping out of a limo in their blazers. I do remember that intro. But they would be sitting, and the room they would just be in the middle of the room. There was no segregation from the table. People just walking by, spilling drinks. They were playing 2-3.
But they went for it.
It was great.
They went, and somebody has to be that innovator.
Yeah.
And there's so many in our world, and it's so great to see.
They unfortunately, didn't keep up that momentum. They didn't change with the times. That's what I think happened.
That's any of us in any
And the
business,
paywall.
when you rest on your laurels and you just think you're the best, like you were mentioning a couple casinos earlier, when you rest and you think you're number one,
right.
someone will come out
for
and
sure.
innovate it better. If you lived in Vegas in the 80s, the Mirage was the place. That was the office. The 80s and 90s.
You lived in Vegas in the 80s?
No, I'm not that old either.
So where's the story coming from?
I love you.
Talk
I
to
know
us
that you
about the
said-
Mirage.
Story.
I know you said we're the same age, but we're not. But we're going to digress from that one. But I love you. I don't know how old you are. How old are
I'm
you?
47.
35.
You just give it out, huh? You just tell.
I don't give a shit.
I mean,
this is my life. I don't care what anybody thinks about me or what I do.
I know people will
I don't care
say-
about my age. I don't care what people think about my age.
I know people will say that you look fantastic for you look fantastic.
Oh, thanks,
You
Sean.
did have
So
a really
do you.
good hair day
It's-
yesterday.
You're lucky
Thank you.
Christian's in between us right now, so we have we have a sweaty buffer. Which I but
No. For everyone to clarify, I know Sean. I've known Sean and his wife for almost a decade, I think now, right? So
the good Dr.
we're
McCormack.
good. We're good friends. We're joking around. I don't want people to think we're dry humping or anything. We couldn't though, because we'd be sweaty humping with this guy in between us.
All right, I'm getting
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
you don't want my. I won't give you my input on all that.
On my age?
No, on anything.
Oh, because bring it.
This
We
is
are
no.
close
This
in
is
age.
this is great.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm 45. I just turned 45.
I
so-
thought you were like 70.
Yeah, well, Vegas and this industry.
No, you're a
Dealing
kid.
with you mutants on a daily basis. We'll do that to the best of us.
Make-
So
we don't make it easy. That's true.
somebody asked me yesterday. I actually didn't ask me, and I love when they don't ask me. He told me, "You loved your fucking job, don't you?" And I said, "You goddamn right I do. I love my job.
Yeah.
I love it. I love every bit about it. Like, there's super high moments. I get to, hang out with celebrities. Like last night, thanks for the invite. We came to town. I got to introduce you to my boss yesterday, which was really cool.
Yeah, Zach.
Zach, great guy.
Zach's a fun guy. I'm not
was
going
your
to tell a
boss?
story, but
Yeah, Zach's my boss.
I'm literally. I see you. I'm like, you guys work together?
he's a fun guy. That's all I have to say about that.
He's literally the most humble guy you'll ever he'd probably be mad at just like I said, he's the senior vice president of all casino strategy.
Wow.
He has a big job. He reports right to the chief of gaming, and this guy doesn't even put his title in his email signature. The second I got promoted, I put that shit in my. Are you kidding me? I was like the motherfucking director of poker. No, I'm kidding, of course. But he's just a humble guy.
That's cool.
And he's the smartest guy in any room he goes, and he really is just this. He's got an analytical brain, and math. He sees it in front of him. He's one of those people where the math pops out. And I'm glad I made the choice to go join his team, and it's really been really, really cool. And like I said, there's a lot of high level stuff that has opened the doors, like starting the Poker Go studio, which was before I was still at Aria at the time, and that opened the door to meeting all these new people and cool stuff. And you guys deal with it every day now. You see what it's like, but really, at the end of the day, the best part of my job is growing it from the bottom, growing the 1-3, growing the 2-5, because we don't live without that. Those are the people that pay the bills, not the 100-200 game. You think I make money off the, and I'm going to say this
go ahead.
tongue in cheek, but do you think I make money off the Bobby's Room and the Ivy Room game? Excuse me, Table 1 and Legends Room. Do you think I make real money off those? Of course not. Of course not. We take care of those guys. They play at a very high level. We make sure they come. I'm not saying we're a lost loser on that game, but I make way more money off
That's
a
not the bread and butter,
2-5 game than I
Right.
do ever off. And I think people, I'm not giving away trade secrets here. Your 1-3, your 2-5, and even your 5-5 players are your bread and butter.
100%.
Why? Because it's just volume. Poker's based on volume.
And it's
If
around the
we
clock.
had 100 games, then that would be our bread and butter. But that's not how poker works.
So is this why you're in Spaces? Because I feel like you're the
Oh, God,
poker.
we're bringing up
No,
Spaces. I
because
love
you're
it.
the poker director of the people. Your strategy for the people. It feels like, and so you're in the Spaces with the people.
We've been going.
He's
so
in
long
Spaces
now, and I
because he
love
loves
this,
the
by the way.
fucking talk. That's why you're in Spaces.
I'm trying to lead
I
up
wait
to a
for the
very
invite.
nice, politically correct question
Go ahead,
for him.
go, do it.
But if you want to get in the grime, you want to be digging in the
Who we
dirt
wanna
with
talk
all the
about?
Spaces
No, I don't want to talk about anybody.
drama, we can talk about it.
Oh God, I mean, I
Spaces
don't even know
is
where you'd start. So
so
I'll
drunk.
probably tap out here and say
Okay.
no. But no, you can ask me any
It
question.
kind of no, it just kind of feels that like you like to be with the people. Like you're not sitting there as a director. Like I only talk to Phil Ivey. You're one of us basically.
It goes back to what we said earlier, where if you're running a card room, you have to play the game. I treat every part. I'm in the forums. I'm on the boards. I'm doing things that I know other poker directors plus aren't doing, managers aren't doing, and that's fine. But I think it's important. I think it's kind of why people feel so comfortable to come talk to me. They're like, Sean's one of us. And that's all I've ever wanted, because I am one of you guys. I just happen to work on the other side of the table, and I run the business a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, I'm a poker player. I love this game. I wish I could play it more. Like, I'm sure golf, people that teach people how to play golf, they probably think, well, I wish I played the game more. It's stuff like that. And I wish I had more time to play the game. It's tough for all of us to find the time. But yeah, I see the importance of knowing that this is a community-based game. And if you're not inside the community, if you're not one of us, then you're on the outside. And there's so many poker leaders that do it well. Matt Savage, kudos, give him his flowers. The man deserves it. Yep. He does it well. You can't throw a tweet at the guy and he doesn't respond in 6 seconds. Like, he's that guy. And I've learned a lot from him on how to stay engaged with the community. But I think I've got a little bit different than it. I really go in the trenches. Like, I'm in spaces. I'm in, if you say we're having a meetup to talk about this at the South Point, I show up. There's a ladies event at the South Point. That's not my product. I show up to show support to the ladies. Hey, Lupe. Hey, Linda Johnson. Hey, Jan Fisher. So great seeing you guys. I love this. Keep moving this along. And then whatever it is, it doesn't have to be, it could be a different kind of specialty thing. The bar leagues and stuff. I show up because it's important.
I know. I've reached out to you last minute. I'm like, hey, can we do a meetup game there? You're like, yeah, got it. Table's ready. Go. What time? What do you need? I'm like, oh, okay. What do you want to play? Anything.
Because it's important.
Yeah.
It really is. And that, we can't see those moves on a balance sheet. We can't see those moves on a financial sheet, but I know they're there. I can't quantify all the moves that I make in the shadows, so to speak, in the spaces on the 2+2 boards and stuff like that. But keeping your ear to the ground, knowing what the players want, knowing what the next moves are. I know, Nick, you asked me earlier, what's our next move? What are you doing? And big stuff. More stuff with live streaming, more stuff with content creators. I'm working now, and this was the vision that I had, although this is a massive program that we're doing that includes table games and slots and sports and everything else. So I just have my little piece to speak about. But when we started talking about content creators and developing a policy to make people feel comfortable, not just the content creators yourself, but everybody else that doesn't content create, stuff like that, the importance of that is just the growth of the game. Like, it's just massive. Like, all you have to do is give minimal effort. Like, you just have to seem engaged. I met at the table last night for the first time. I'm gonna butcher his last name, but I think it's Corey Irwing.
I like that kid.
How do you know how to say his last name? Irwing. I think it's Iring. Thank you. Iring. And what a great kid.
Super
cool. It's so funny. I don't know if you know, he's a vlogger, and he does these stories where it's like, I put my whole bankroll on the table and went dust in Vegas or went dust in this place. And it's great. And it's like him running to the airport and like, oh, I'm going to miss my flight. And it's like, it just feels really cool. But I met him in person last night, and until someone said who I was, he didn't know me from a can of paint, but it didn't matter. I literally, the first thing I showed him was like, this is you, right? And I showed him that I subbed to him on YouTube. And he was just like, oh my God, dude, that's great. Fist pounding, says like this. And then some of the table was like, you know who that guy is, right? And I don't need any kind of introduction. He's a new kid. He's not supposed to know who I am. But eventually, as they move up, it's important to know that, because at some point he's going to end up at Bellagio. He's going to end up at Art. And if he ends up at the Wynn, if he ends up at Caesars, if he ends up at the World Series, it doesn't matter. Poker is better for it because it's one game.
True. But you'll 86 him though.
Yeah, he gets barred.
The one thing I will tell you all the time is I am always in support of my competition, because if they're getting better, I give kudos and flowers to the Win more than any other property probably on this planet, besides my own, of course. But all the moves they've made in the last couple of years, getting that partnership with the World Poker Tour, just blowing that room up. That room could have went either way, and they had a vision that
that's right.
We need to do more. We need to do more. What are we missing? And they were missing the tournament component. Venetian has their deep stacks, and that's just been massive they crush forever. I mean, they own that mid to mid high market, and they do it better than all of us. And then Aria owns the high stakes market. Right. And Win was like, okay, we're our biggest competitor is obviously Aria. We all know Win Aria. The players just literally, we should just build you guys a tunnel, just go back and forth at this point.
That is how it works.
And they were probably like, hey, what is Aria doing that we're not doing? They're like, okay, they're doing the Poker Go stuff. We can't just go at them for that. But we can do big tournaments. We need an operator to go with. We need a partner to go with. And who better than the World Poker Tour? I don't blame them. I think it's awesome. Big ups to them. And by extension, they've made our business better. And we all do that. If I'm running
competition
a big event,
makes you keep rolling, man.
if I'm running a big event one day, that means the cash games that win are amazing. If they're running an event the next day, that means the cash games at Aria are amazing. It just does this. And we understand it. Again, we're not playing against each other. We're not really playing with each other either. And it's just that mutual respect that grows the game every day.
Yeah.
And it's just those little points that people in operations would see that are important, that it's not about how many hands you can deal a half hour. I literally tell dealers when they arrive at Aria Bellagio, I said, I don't care how many hands you deal a half hour. I don't. These buildings are beautiful. We'll make the money. We'll be fine. You're going to pull the rake. We'll be fine. It's not about that. It's about knowing the game, doing it well. Slow is smooth. Smooth becomes fast. I don't need this when you're pitching cards. I don't need you all over the place thinking you know all the rules and stuff like that. I don't need you doing burn and turn procedure yourself because I just know that rule. No, I need you to buy into the central theme and this central plan that we have to move this product forward and grow it. And that's all it is, whether you do it internally or with your external partners.
And do you, you mentioned vlogging and social media, you have a plan and streaming. Do you want to elaborate into those or do you want to keep it
that's kind of
under
where
your hat?
Going, so I appreciate that. Yeah. So the plan was first just to get this in motion. We want you guys out there creating the content. We don't want to own the content. We want to support the content. We don't want to buy Corey's content and make it under an MGM page. We want to promote Corey's page or whoever's in this.
Very
page.
smart.
The DePaulos, the Brad Owens obviously plays with us at Bellagio a lot, records a lot of his content. We want to work with you. We don't want to own it. We don't want to pull it away from you. We want to promote you and make you the biggest of whatever your ceiling is in your career. So the plan now that we have it in place and now people are doing this and they're feeling comfortable is to what's the next step? Well, the next step is working directly with you, not putting you on the payroll, but you already monetize it on YouTube. How can I monetize it for you at Bellagio? Can I make a partnership with you and say, hey, if you go into the poker room, do XYZ, that's your business, cool. But if you want to go to Prime tonight, if you want to go to Noodles, if you want to stay in our hotel room, I'm gonna comp your room.
That's sharp.
I'm gonna comp your food because those are just soft costs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And what I need you to do is I need you to be that poker guy, but do a little lifestyle piece on our stuff. Go promote these things. Let me put you at the table at Prime that overlooks the fountains because what kind of wow moment is that? Anywhere in the world, by the way, if you can eat anywhere in the world and have a view of the fountains, and it's better than Bellagio or anywhere. I call.
Yeah, no, that's
I
a great
snap
room.
call. I have sat those over the fountain, overlooking this most beautiful, elegant scene in the world. But now we have a content creator that's again hitting a subsection of audience that we don't hit. So that's value. That's
very
value.
smart.
And that value turns into money, and that's what we're all capitalists. We're poker players. We're capitalists. So and that's just the business at the end of the day. But now instead of just the casino giant trying to make all the money, we're also saying we want to pick you up too because you were picking us.
Before you go on with
That's
that
really
thought,
sharp. I think
yeah,
that's
it's
an
really
amazing
smart.
idea.
Before you go on with that thought and elaborate on the rest of the stuff you're doing, that's the one thing that I will say is probably the smartest thing that I've heard, and I'll give you an example of it. When
I get one a year. One
real,
smart
I
thing.
can't even believe you did it. When we were taking our stream idea around to the casinos, it was the weirdest, oddest thing for me. And I'll even say this too. And I'll go to Bally's in a second too, because it's just the truth. We went there and the management, the owners and the management always kept asking, why would I pay for you to do this? How do I see ROI right now? And I would tell every one of them, I said, you don't understand. If you embrace this idea, it's a marketing cost for you. You're going to have I promise you, if you go with us, you're going to have millions of eyes on you. We're going to make this work. And then you're just going to have to figure out how you're monetizing it. Your poker room is going to grow like the Hustler by 3x, or even a bigger casino would be hard like yours, because all those people that would come to see a show or come to do this, yeah, your poker room is going to grow, but they're going to go pull a slot. And there's no way to calculate that. You just can't calculate it. So for you, obviously, to understand that and to be doing that, it is very smart, because that's the way to grow, just like you said, your business. And the same thing with Bally's. Like, they approached they approached us, I don't know, a year ago, whatever it was, and we're like, do you maybe want to take over the big what the fuck's it called, big bet poker stream out there, and we're like, okay, well, we'll talk about it, and everything was about like, why would we pay you to do that? Why would we, and like, what the fuck would we come there to do it if you didn't, like, and so they couldn't see it, but the truth is if they did, they would have millions of eyes on their products. And so it's just so refreshing to hear, because not a lot of management in poker, I promise you this, understand that. They really don't. And that's from experience, because I've dealt with all these LA casinos and some big corporations, and it just doesn't click. So kudos to you.
I can tell you why right now. So, speaking from experience, what they're doing is they're looking at your product like it's a gaming device, and that is wrong. They're chips, buttons, cards, video. It's wrong. Chips, buttons, cards, billboards. You're a billboard. You're media. It's different. You have reach. You're not a gaming product. You're not a shuffler. You're not the Bravo system, the Poker Atlas system. It's different. You don't fall under the natural purview of someone that runs in gaming ops. So you're running into people that don't know what they're talking about, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to take them time to learn, but I'm
they
blessed.
learned.
Yeah.
And
now you have the receipts to show.
Yeah.
You're just like, you just dunked on them, basically.
Yeah. One of the hosts, real quick, one of the hosts came by a month ago. I won't say his name, and I won't say the casino because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. So just came by, and it was one of the casinos that passed, and he was standing there. I'm friends with him, and he's just like, yeah. And I won't say the owner's name. The owner came to me the other day of the casino and said these words: "We kind of fucked up, didn't we?" And he's like, "Well, I told you," because he was the one who brought me in to try to get the stream there. He saw it. Yeah. So, anyways, please continue.
No, yeah, it's just like I said. It's you're talking to the right people, but they're also the wrong people, because most people in poker are tasked with running their poker room. They're not like, if let's kind of put it in my own personal experience. If Carrie Katz came to me with Poker Go and said, Sean, this is what we're going to do, it would have failed. It would have died, dead on arrival. Granted, I was blessed at the time to work for Bobby Baldwin, so it was very easy. Right, I just brought him something that I'm like, Chief, this is something that works. And it was like, I don't want to say that I directly brought it. Obviously, Maury and Carrie had Bobby's ear. So it's not like I had to do much. We all talked it out and it worked. But it's finding the right person that understands the product. That's what you need. So I'm not telling you, like, I don't know if you're looking to ever grow your brand, but if you like went to another card club here in California and say, hey, we got this working product, it works, and we want to do something similar with you. Yeah, I would talk to the poker person, but I would also say, do you have somebody in PR? Do you have somebody that understands what? Do you have somebody in brand? Do you have somebody in social? And again, I work for a massive corporation. I have hundreds of the people in those jobs. Our social media team is probably 40 people. Our branding teams, each property has a branding person that like figure out the big ARIA marquee, what's going on there, what are we doing around the place and stuff like that. And those are the people that got brought into the conversation real quick with Poker Go. And that's why it had the success that it did, because it had not only property support, and I'm going to sound real corporate when I say this, but it had enterprise-wide support. Like everybody bought in and everybody was like, oh no, this will be cool. And honestly, if it fails, oh well. Sometimes it's better to take the shot. For sure. Shoot or shoot. You know what I mean?
You can't score if you don't take a shot, right?
Yeah. What do they say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. Got a little laugh from the crowd. But that's all it is finding the person that, one, understands the product, and two, gets excited about the product. And that was me from the go. I was like, literally, from jump with Poker Go, I was like, we're going to be the coolest room in the freaking world. Nobody's going to do this, because, and still to this day,
you're right, we
have a 10,000 square foot studio. Yeah. Most poker, by extension, the ARIA poker room is 5,600 square feet, 24 tables. We took 10,000 square feet and put 9 gaming tables in there.
What I could do in that studio.
What a lot of us.
Oh my God.
What we do. Like, look at what we do. We
and
do
I always really viewed Poker Go, whether right or wrong, like that Poker Go studio to me is an extension of ARIA. Right? It feels like it's just part of ARIA's. Like,
that's exactly how it feels. Yeah.
So it's like, and so that you were even more a part of that.
It's cool.
But
cool for sure.
But to talk about sort of where we've come, like I remember playing at Bellagio, where the vloggers, and I'm friends with a lot of vloggers, James and etc. And there was a point in time where they were doing it on the low and they couldn't get the Bellagio brand in the video because they might get in trouble. So they were like trying to avoid the felt where it says Bellagio. And now we're like in a completely different world where it's like, why don't you go to the restaurant and tell us what you think about the chow mein? Like,
and again, that goes to why my job was created.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like companies are out there just like, oh, let's just throw another director position. These positions cost money, you know, at the end of the day. And they could have kept me at Aria and said, hey, we want to give you a little bit more. But it wasn't that. Someone in our C-suite had a vision. He was like, you know, our poker rooms are successful. We have one of the best, most recognizable poker brands in the world, of course. But they're all siloed out and they're not working together. They're not working against each other, but they're not really working together. So when someone would bring a product, whether it was to Bellagio or whether it was to Borgata or anything in between, they would bring it to the poker director, and the poker director would take it to one person, one brass person at the property who didn't understand the product. So a lot of things were dead on arrival. And that's your problem when you go in these places. You hit the person that just like, I don't understand this. And that's unfortunate. So they brought me into this corporate position to say, you understand this shit. So if you tell us this is greenlit, it's greenlit. And that's kind of what I'm doing now. I have some big initiatives coming down the pipeline, a couple that I can't talk about yet, but wouldn't have got off the ground if I wasn't where I'm at. And I'm not saying I'm the guy. I'm just lucky enough to be able to pull the team together and have a voice for all of the rooms to say, no, you know, this is what we need to do. This is the future of poker. Yes, it's going to cost money. Yes, it's an investment, but these players are valuable to us. They're not valuable because we get $5 rake every hand or $38 rake here in LA or whatever you guys take. But I joke. But but no, you're not. But
You should see the Bay Area.
But it really is. They just needed someone that understood the community and what it takes to move the product forward. And again, that's why I'm in the forums. That's why I'm in the spaces. I know some of the competition I have for this job. Some real big names. And I can't obviously out anybody, some big names in poker. And my company decided to go with me. And it's not like just because I was the internal guy. I had to second interview at my own company for the job that I'm in. And it made sense. And when I went in, I didn't talk about what I knew everybody else was going to talk about. I talked about the outside lines that no one talks about. I said, what are we doing to grow the game? Not what we're doing to stay status quo. And, you know, if we make X amount, we want to make X amount plus 3% next year. No, that's not enough for me. What are we doing to leap the game forward? What are these other guys doing that we can do better? And that's kind of what I've kind of done, is just bring everybody together, central themes, without losing brand identity. Again, I don't want 9 Borgatas. I don't want 9 Bellagios. I want them all to have their own feel, but at the same time, I want them to work together. I want the directors talking to each other. Hey, I tried this on Saturday. It fucking bombed. And then I'll tell the guy in the Vegas segment, it's okay, you can try it too. It might work. And sometimes it does. And sometimes we fall flat on our ass and go back to the drawing board. But that's how you move the needle. And a lot of people in poker operations are afraid to do that because they don't see the value. Because again, poker on a finance sheet, sorry guys, I'm sure you know this, we're not the big earner. It's table games, it's slots,
For sure.
It's sports. I mean, you can bet sports anywhere. I can pick up my phone right now and place a bet. Can't do that with poker everywhere.
No, of course.
Yet, we're going to get there. BetMGM Poker is going to grow, guys. We're excited for it to come to Nevada. We're excited for things we're going to do when that happens. We're excited to get online qualifiers. I don't know if you guys know, we run the BetMGM Summer Championship at Aria every year. You know, we started with, it was a product me and my counterpart at BetMGM, we were just like, we should throw a tournament together. Let's do it together. Co-brand it, blah, blah, blah. And it started with 300 people 3 years ago. And they sent us 48 qualifiers. In 3 years, that event has grown to over 1,100 people. It was a $1 million guarantee. It's now a $3 million guarantee. And here is the part that tells me, here's my receipts. We had 48 qualifiers from the online market. Mind you, we don't even have a Nevada product yet that we're pushing from Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania to Vegas. 48 people in the first year. We were over 200 this year. Wow. And everybody knows we're not reinventing the wheel. If we go back to 2005, what made poker successful? Step tournaments, getting in for a penny, getting in for a free, getting in for $1, getting in for $5, which we can't do in the live space. I can't put 100 dealers down and say, oh, $5 tournament. That's impossible. It's literally impossible. But in the online market, we can do that. And we've already proven it. We're pushing online qualifiers, which is, again, pushing the on-qual qualifiers up, which just pushes the live players up, because what player in the world would you rather play with than an online qualifier?
That's a great situation.
So that is where the growth of the game comes, because those are newer players. Those are players buying it for $5, and he doesn't mind looking at the guy that bought it for $5 and step, and now he's in a 3,500 or a 10K. He doesn't mind plunking down 10K because his EV is through the roof now. Yeah. And that's all. And those players will eventually get better. But if we use this farming system to continue to bring new people into the product, poker's just going to get better. So when we identified this, we're like, man, this is going to get huge. Yeah, and as the product grows, as the BetMGM product grows, and we have iGaming and people are going to be playing in Nevada or any state eventually, hopefully one day, that's when poker will return to 2005, Party Poker, Poker Stars, Full Tilt, and all the others. And it was just that excitement. And I can't wait for that day. I might be close to 1 foot in the grave by then, hopefully, because U.S. regulation takes forever. But it's really an exciting time for poker and what we're doing.
So what's the plan for Borgata? Because I'll
be back in a second. You guys keep rolling.
I miss the East Coast turn. Like, I come from Borgata and Parks and that sort of
where are you from?
New Jersey.
Oh, you're
yeah.
Okay.
So I played Borgata a ton, and anyone that plays East Coast tournaments sort of got used to they took turns, right? It was Parks near Philly. They had their big stack series, and then it was Parks, Borgata, and they all took turns month by month, right? And Borgata was massive with tournaments, and they would kill me if I didn't ask you when Borgata tournaments are coming back as a staple.
So in the tournament space, it's you can't just throw in a bunch of tables and hope it grows. It takes time. And honestly, what hurt tournament poker the most in the last decade is COVID.
Of course.
Let's be honest. It is what it is. A lot of places still haven't even resumed tournaments 4 years later. And I'm not talking major.
We just started it back in Bay 101. Yeah. They just started tournaments again.
It's and I understand why, because tournaments cost money. And it's tournaments are kind of like the milk in the grocery store. You hope they grab other items on the way back out. But that's not really the case anymore. 20 years ago, you busted the $500 tournament and you went and played cash.
Right.
Why don't we do that anymore? Well, 2 reasons. One, everybody runs events now. And 2, re-entries, which I had a conversation with someone last night. And he was like, who's this MF that created re-entries? And I think Matt Savage kind of takes the credit for this, but he's also a guy that will tell you we cannot put the genie back in the box.
Correct.
In a perfect world, every tournament would be a freeze out. Private games wouldn't exist, and a bunch of other stuff. But we opened the box of these things, and we can't stuff them back in. We can't, because we can't go back to playing a $2,500 WSOP event where you start with $2,500 in chips.
Right.
I know you remember those days.
I do.
It's not that day anymore. Now we're conditioned to have deep stacks, mega stacks, and even more so, guaranteed massive prize. Nobody in 2005 was guaranteeing $5 million prizes. Why would you do that? They showed up anyways. Now we do that to incentivize you, but we can only do that because of the re-entry model. If we go back to the old model, these $3 million guarantees now become $300,000 guarantees, and these tournaments don't last 2, 3, 4, 5 days anymore. They last 12 hours. And people have changed. Tournament poker has changed. So it's really hard in a lot of spots. And I know I'm avoiding your Borgata question here a little bit.
It's okay.
It's okay. But no, we
I'm sure there's reasons that you can't disclose, and it's fine.
No, I'll be honest. In full disclosure, we started the engine back up. The Borgata Poker Open that we have in January is a great success. We put it in the event center. We do things in the central conference room. We're just trying to get more and more space and grow the product. But I also don't want to lay out 500 tables like Tab used to do back in the day at Borgata.
Tab was an OG.
And Tab's the OG, and just fall flat. I can't completely fall flat. Take risk, but calculated risk. So we are getting there with East Coast poker. But East Coast has been the spot, not just Borgata, but it's been the slowest return for poker, not just the Philly area too, other products in New Jersey. I mean, really, what other product is there in New Jersey?
No, it's just Borgata.
I mean, for poker, it's just Borgata. I'm not going to knock the whole city of New Jersey, but
no, it's just
Atlantic City. Excuse me, Atlantic City.
Borgata is just that is New Jersey, but that Borgata Parks have the same player pool because they all travel down and from the New York area.
It's a longer win to Aria. That's all. It's the they need to have the Borgata to Parks.
Yeah, that tunnel. There's a tunnel.
But I would say that I think one thing that kind of alerts me to East Coast poker, and I saw this on the West Coast years ago, and nobody does this really anymore, is people get in each other's way. You see your competitor running a series from the 20th to the 5th, and then you run your series from the 19th to the and that's bad. And what people don't understand is that's not just bad for the house, that's bad for everybody. It just splits up your player base. It puts us all over the place. It's kind of like, this week coming up in Vegas is Ladies Week. Love Ladies Week. Let's have all these terms. We're kicking off at MGM Grand today, Sunday. It's Sunday, right? So we're kicking off at MGM Grand today, and then there's like a week of tournaments. And what we, 10 years ago, we all got in each other's way. We just like, fuck it, I'll put my schedule. I don't give a shit what you do. Right. And I had to take a step back while I was still at Aria one year and look at these events, and I actually took a step back to one of my biggest competitors because it was the right move to do. We put it on the same day. I got calls from Lupe, I got calls from Jan Fisher, I got calls from Linda to say, hey man, why are you guys running the same day? You're going to take our pool and just split it apart. And I said, we released first, but I'm willing to play nice in the sandbox. And we went back. I talked to Paul Campbell and I said, Paul, we got to change this. We have to do this. I know it will look like, it might look like there's some weakness, but it's not. At the end of the day, what's good for the community, what's good for the game is good for all of us. So we took that step back. We moved our dates to make sure that the ladies weren't split on one specific day, because in years past, it's exactly what happened. I remember running an Aria ladies event and Planet Hollywood ran it on the same day, and I lost it. I was like, what are you guys doing? And I call over and be like, hey man, can we, I can't tell my competitor what to do because there's rules to that, but also at the same time, like, wake up. Like, you're not coming at our players. You're coming at a specific set of players and dividing and making them make the choice. And I promise you, Planet Hollywood, you don't want them choosing between Aria and Planet Hollywood.
Hey, you.
Because we're going to Aria. Yeah.
Oh,
there's my little hatchet. That one little hatchet.
show.
One little hatchet.
There you go.
But not really.
That was a baby hatchet.
They don't have poker anymore, so
there you
I
go.
can kid a little bit with them.
I played 11-handed one year there.
You're the only person they made an 11 seat for?
No, I think that what happened was, and this was during the series when they had like their whatever it was tournament, and we got to day 2, and too many people bagged and they didn't have enough tables, so I played 11-handed. There has to be people that remember this. There was multiple tables that were 11-handed, not just mine. And they didn't account for the amount of people that they were expecting, and then we just played 11-handed. I folded 7s under the gun.
Do you think?
I remember this for sure.
Well, of course.
The only time I've ever played 11-handed was at the Palace Casino in West Edmonton Mall in Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada, and it was a $20 tournament, and the blinds doubled every 15 minutes. No. And how much did you buy into that tournament?
This is like a real $1,500 tournament.
A $1,500 tournament playing 11-handed.
I don't even know if it was legal. Is it legal to play 11-handed tournaments?
That's a $20 tournament, bro, in someone's basement. You know,
this was like a real tournament.
That's in a jail.
Let's talk this out real quick in real time. Let's act like this was today. As an operator, what would you think? What would be now? I've screwed the pooch, so now I have plan A, plan B, and they're both bad. What do you think would be a better solution to that, if any?
Call one of your partners and bring a table from a neighboring
so let's say
place.
They don't have the space and they can't do that in time, because even at massive operations like Bellagio,
run 2 day 2s.
So if when we set up all those tables at Aria, I'd have to go dig to find one. It might be one broken table left. We put out the full allotment. So what would I do in this spot?
Couldn't you start one group, half the group at 11, the other half starts at 3?
So that's where
that's smart.
Do a split flight in real time. I'd put out a tweet and get it out there and get the information. I'll post it at the cage and all that. But I would probably think to split the flights.
Right.
I would add a day 2 A and B. And they would have to be in the same day, because you can't extend the tournament.
Correct.
Especially in the Vegas market. You never do that, because my flight is booked Sunday. You can't push me to Monday. And I always thought that was, and I know you guys had a California card room do that at one point, add flights and stuff, and that is just bad. Don't do that. It's just don't take the hit. If you're gonna pay the overlay, pay the overlay. I'm here to say first, pay the overlay. And I know people have, we've even had spots where we're like,
Sean for president.
But just pay the overlay. Just pay the overlay. It's just the not paying the overlay is way worse for the brand than anything, especially if your brand is large. There are brands that can take that hit; they don't care. Yeah. But if you're Bellagio, if you're Aria, if you're MGM Grand, pay it. If you're a big other brand, everybody should pay it. I'm all for that. But just pay it. Just do the right thing, and it will continue to grow the game. It'll pay dividends in the end like Alan Keating punting to Neymar.
Wait,
He
so
knows what he's doing, guys.
did you cash?
Of course not. What do you mean? You think
wanted
I
to
know
know
the
the
strategy
outcome.
for 11-handed?
Yeah. What do the solvers say?
There is no solver.
How many big ones did you have?
I don't remember. I just
10 big
Aces,
blinds,
kings,
11-handed.
queens, ace king. That's
It was.
your-
I never thought I would see that. I'm glad I've never seen it again. But we were just. Everyone was like, "Wait, what? This is insanity!" Like, I mean, but yeah, I guess we've sat there and took it on the chin. Pause. But yeah, it was wild. That was wild. Glad they're closed.
Where was this at?
Planet Hollywood.
Oh, shit. Damn, we're just throwing hatchets at the same time.
Yeah. No, well,
Again,
because
they don't have poker, so we're good.
No, well, because you triggered the memory. You brought up Planet.
Now he's going to be crying in the fetal position under the table.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Sucking his thumb at wanting his mom. Not
I want to
11-handed,
make him
please.
feel better and say that in 2003 in Florida for a couple years we dealt 12-handed poker.
No.
We
no.
had oversized tables. So they were like a normal table is either like 98 or 140. Like they were like 108. They were like the old big box tables. And we dealt 12-handed. And I'll tell you, this is Florida. Like people like to eat in Florida. I'm not a small guy. I like to eat too. We all sat at the table this way. Nobody sat straight at the table because it was 12-handed. And I was dealing, so it was just so awkward. Like I'd have to pitch the last card like this because the guy was almost behind me. It wasn't like he was like this. He was like, it was like so close to me. I was like, all right, guys, get comfortable. And like, but yeah,
That's insane.
And I'm glad people don't do that anymore. Hell, we still do 8-handed poker. And people,
I loved when
the
you
Nits
guys
keep
went.
asking me when we're going to go to 9-handed.
No,
again.
please stop.
We won't.
Yeah.
We do 9-handed in tournaments.
Yeah,
because
well, that's
it makes
normal.
sense.
That's normal.
Because you got to get more
Yeah.
people through the turnstiles, but
Yeah.
in cash you don't.
No,
So-
it was so beautiful when you went 8-handed. I was like after COVID and it went 8-handed. I was like, wow, this is just the sweet spot. Like the 9-handed is too much. The 6-handed, you know, some people don't like it. You know, certain people like that want to hide. But yeah, that 8-handed was a perfect middle ground. That
Yeah,
one-
I'm glad we kept with that. And
What was the decision? Why did you go to 8?
COVID? So when COVID happened, we reduced the number.
Well, I'll put it. Why did you stick with it?
Because it worked.
Got
Because we listened to our customers,
Good.
and that's what they told us, especially in the luxury segment. Now, that isn't to say that players at Mandalay Bay, MGM Grand, and some of our other more, core products, as we call them, and it's not to diminish, obviously, MGM Grand is a massive, massive operation. But in some of the smaller rooms, some of the players were more vocal to go back to 9. But for the most part in cash, we remained 8 because it seems like what the players want.
Yeah.
I like Christian. I think it's the sweet spot for action.
Mm-hmm.
I think 9 and 10-handed can sometimes you just become too nitty, and I will be in camp. I don't like 5 or 6-hand. I can play 6-handed poker, but I like 7, 8-handed poker. I
No,
think
but
it's
there's
perfect.
recreationals that don't want to play 6-handed, and we have to cater to them. So I think 9 is too much. 6 is they don't want to play that, so we stick to the middle. 8 is nice.
And can I make a PSA real quick?
Go.
Guys, if you're playing 8-handed poker and you lose one player, please stop calling us for a rake reduction. 7 is not short-handed. All right, thanks, guys. Back to you.
Well, I'm just hopeful that Florida has fixed all of its 12-handed gaming because if they can fix poker, maybe they can fix their hockey teams too. So that'd be great. And we're gonna win the Stanley Cup tomorrow. I just want to say, Oilers.
Wow, bang,
Shout out
bang.
to the Oilers.
Bang, bang.
Sorry, had to throw that one in there.
Hey, they're gonna make a history. Second team though, if they win, right?
Right,
Since the
second team
60s
to
or
come back from a
50s or-
3-0. They were down 3-0 against the Panthers.
I will say this about the Oilers. You have pretty fans that make like Twitter
Beautiful fans.
moments.
Yeah.
And
Well-
Twitter's been great the last
Yeah.
This
the
last 2 weeks has been really
I know where you're going with the last weeks, and I'm not gonna, they're making shirts and hats for this girl now too, but she might bring us all together. She might be what saves us all. She might.
Who are we? I don't know.
We're not gonna mention her.
You're not really.
Nick, I mean, if it doesn't have to do with Hustler, Nick's just like, meh.
True. No, he
Oilers.
Or me
He's not an
personally.
Oilers
You really don't know
fan.
what we're talking about, or
You don't know the girl who
The girl
flashed
that,
her
like,
boobs?
No, the other one.
Well, that one too.
No.
That
Oh,
one.
you're talking
That's
about
what
someone else?
No, he's talking about the most recent one.
encompassing. It's
The
all
Huck Tui
encompassing.
girl? Oh, the Huck Tui girl. Yeah, those.
The whole
those
what?
two-
Wait, you know what that is? What is it called? No,
he's-
look, say it. I didn't hear it. Say it again.
Why do you want me to say it
Because
again?
I'm definitely not saying it.
The Huck Tui girl.
Facts. I'm not saying it
Tui?
either.
Does a Huck Tui mean spit? Yeah, but what do
Yeah.
you think is happening in that situation? They did that live? What? She did that to somebody live, and they.
Well, she
panned
was
to it?
referencing, how you should take
I
care
love that
of
we're
your partner.
explaining this to
How
someone.
did she get the mic?
because they were interviewing her.
Who
It
is
was
she?
one of those content creators like
Yeah.
on the street where like, hey, let me ask you a question. And basically he asked her a question like,
I don't remember the question. The question doesn't matter anymore.
yeah, the question doesn't matter. I really don't. But something about like, what do you need to do in the bedroom or something like that.
Or to
And
keep a man, I think. it was
something like that. Something like that.
Why are you
Now
guys so
it's
worried
like-
about saying this?
It's so funny that
No, it's hilarious. You should just play it.
I'm gonna play
Whoever's
it.
editing this.
I'm gonna
just-
play it.
someone
Insert
start the
it.
clip right here.
Yeah.
Let's-
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
I mean, she's
Insert it.
super
It's-
viral right now.
No,
super viral.
It's the most viral thing I've seen in a while.
And I've not seen it.
Yeah, I can't even mention another. Like, what would be the next closest?
The Oilers jersey girl.
Yes, but the fact that these two things
I didn't
came
see
so
that.
close together
During
is
Pride
amazing.
Month of all times. Took
Have you
away
not
Pride
seen-
Month from the gays.
Have you not seen the
No,
other one?
I know. I kid you not. I have
This
not
is
seen
like
that
all
one either.
right up your alley, though.
I-
Like,
yeah,
this
this-
is me.
No. I will tell you, this is not up his alley. His alley is Hustler. He's super
You're
focused on
locked in
Hustler. He's
Hustler.
locked in.
Locked in, baby.
Anything else outside of that, he's like, meh, not interested.
Christian, did you see that there was another Oilers girl that showed up and everybody was like, oh my God. They just assumed it was the other girl because she's in the
my
Oilers
God.
jersey and she's just another pretty girl. And they were like, and now
she's actually going viral just because she looks
Exactly,
like the
by
boob girl.
That's
extension.
amazing.
So
I
that's
need to
just-
see
I
that.
follow both of them now.
So let's bring it back to poker and Hustler and things that I do. How do we have this next moment? What is our next moment? What is our
We'll bring
insert?
Sashimi back with her prosthetic.
Oh my God.
This-
That's the
Same shit.
only video you guys had to take down.
We had to take that whole stream down.
Yeah. And it was a
Really?
fake boob.
Really? Well, I mean, I get it.
It's a strike.
I get it. It looked
Well, I mean,
rather real.
I would wear that.
Stunned the shit out of me. I was home watching, and
Oh, you didn't know this wasn't like a
no,
gaff that
she
you
did it on her own. Nobody knew. Some of the people at the
Sashimi's
table had
so
no idea.
wild.
Like it was fake.
Sashimi's out of her mind.
I was sitting at home in the recliner, and I'm on my phone, and I'm watching the show on the TV, and I look, and literally like and I sit up, and I walk to the TV, and I go, oh shit, and I'm calling Louie, I'm calling Tita, I'm like, cover her up, because I know, and I bought it for like a couple hours
Hook,
until
line, and
someone
sinker.
texted me and said it was a prosthetic, and I'm like, oh my God, but still, same concept.
And that's crazy. You know that moment, but don't know the oil. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's your product, but this would be right up your alley. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Why
totally.
is this up my alley? You
telling
guys
you,
don't
he-
like boobs?
I'm telling you,
Damn, he really did turn that on. It's like
Doesn't
that
matter.
was
Why is it up
that
my
was a
alley?
strong. Like, how do you want me to answer?
I
this?
don't know.
Everybody likes
answer it
boobs.
honestly.
Literally,
you guys
everybody
still
likes
what?
boobs.
You guys are still hiding behind a paywall
listen.
of your thoughts. Me, I'm out. I'm
Wow, was
free.
that a dig at me and Poker Go?
Yes,
I feel
I'm
like-
free content. I'm free content. I like
$9.99.
boobs.
Listen,
that
let
wrong?
Nick celebrate
No, no.
Pride Month without boobs, okay?
No, it's more
Leave him
because-
alone.
It's honestly just because you're on Twitter a lot and you
Yeah,
interact. And
I got it. I've
thought
never
we thought
seen
that
it.
you would have just like ran into
I don't
it.
think you guys get this. I keep
pun?
saying he does not pay attention to anything
It's not
outside
true.
of the Hustler
If it's not
world.
Hustler or Berkey, he's just like whatever.
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
birthing? Not true. Not true.
I don't think we're saying it's up your alley because it's boobs.
I'm
Again,
playing the bit.
Of course,
I
of
don't
course.
care why you're saying it.
Everybody likes boobs.
Could
but
care
it's,
less why
it's
you're saying
more
it.
of the moment. Like it was just this sports
Yeah, no.
moment, and it was just really wild. And it feels like something like even like us. Like it's
Yeah,
like,
you just run
it's
into it.
entertaining
I
content.
was just
and then
make-
you just run to
I was
it.
just leaning into it like a bit. Don't worry. I don't take offense to the fact I love boobs. You can say anything.
Yeah,
you
now
want.
my algorithm, like it's listening to this whole like who knows?
I didn't
what's-
think
I'm
that
gonna open.
we were arguing whether or not you loved boobs. I didn't think that
I know,
was
but
an
I wanted
argument.
to bring it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
We've all
'Cause
clarified.
That's right up my
Nick
alley.
loves boobs.
So that's right up my alley.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's
see
in
what
his
I'm saying?
wheelhouse.
Levels ahead.
Yeah,
of us.
yeah. I'm
The
dunking on your
meta,
asses.
the meta right now, the
Let's
long
not
I
talk
just
the
con.
reverse
meta.
dunked on you guys.
the Vertucci show after
Yeah.
dark. I like it, guys. Here we go.
All right. Now the real shit's coming out.
Speaking of the Vertucci
Bring my
show,
red
we're
shirt
all going to the Vertucci Ponderosa to eat pasta after
what?
this too.
Ponderosa?
The Ponderosa, my house.
That's how you say it? How do you say it? That's how you say it in Italian?
No, Ponderosa is the TV show of the Western. You're probably too young for it. And it was the Ponderosa. It was the family in the house.
Have you heard of this?
Never
Only
heard it.
Ponderosa
Never
I
heard.
heard is the buffet. And that's how East Coast.
You guys
I
have
don't know if
never
you guys
heard
have
of the
that
show.
out here,
Wait,
but-
hold on. Time out. Have you heard of the show Ponderosa? Have you? You?
No, clearly.
How about you guys? Oh, Bobby. That's unbelievable. The Ponderosa?
You didn't know about the Hcl'S girl, but you know. Anyway, good show. Great
There's the
show.
Cartwrights, the family of the Cowboys.
Literally,
the Cartwrights.
someone got tattooed with the Hcl'S girl.
That's
Unbelievable.
Not
So
the
again,
Ponderosa, though.
What is our poker moment? What can we do to have our viral? I mean, other than bringing
It's got to
gems
be
like Neymar
organic.
on.
It's got to be organic. You can't just push a moment.
And that's what it is. That you can't buy, you can't make those moments. They really are organic, you know. And you'll have copycats, of course, that try to do these things. You're gonna already have other people doing what the Oilers girl did, and you're gonna have other girls trying to make moments, and guys too trying to make weird moments off of these things. But you know, it is what it is. But you're right; it has to be organic, and that's what makes it what it is. It's like, did she really just say that unprompted? Like, this isn't a TV show. There's no script. She just said that.
There was tequila that helped.
That's why we let them cook at HCL. Bring it back to the show. That's why we let it, because organically, you guys just say and do what you want. So do the players.
I definitely do what I want.
I mean, your weather report is no one beats you at weather. You're the best weather girl I've ever listened to. The panning to Hustler Casino Live in the traffic. You talking about that is beautiful. It really just pulls at my heartstrings, Christian.
They call you. He's
like, this is abuse. What are we doing? Get back to the game. Neymar is betting.
Yeah. They call you the weather girl in the chat and
only
in
when
some
she
of the
referenced
comments.
it.
Is that why?
That's why they said it.
Okay, got it. All right.
No, they're calling Christian the weather girl.
They're like, oh, back to the weather girl, and then they all went weather girl.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she didn't know that.
No,
I'm telling her.
No, she prompted it. I thought it was funny, and then I was just like, "All right, fuck you."
See, now you can make that a bit, like a lasting bit.
No, it literally says
on the ones with Christian, and then it's just like
my Twitter literally says weather report.
That's amazing.
It's because people say like, when are you coming back to Hustler? We need to do the weather.
Yeah,
because it's like as soon as they cut to that shot, I'm like, oh no, here we go again. Like it's 76 degrees. Traffic is going northbound is terrible. If you're going southbound and getting your side chick, you're going to be there on time. Like all of this is just, and they love it. They love that weather.
That shot cost me $350 to put a drone up there and have someone take that shot. So you'd be nice.
Oh, Christian's so thankful to you.
Now you have your bit.
The chat loves it. As soon as they cut, they're just like, here we go.
Yeah, they love that shit. They love the Zio on the mic because Zio doesn't talk. So we always say he's one of our commentators. He's in the booth with me because Zio doesn't talk at the table. So they always say like, "Oh, Zio's in the booth," because nothing's being said.
The funny part was when I started doing it just like sort of happened, right? Because I think there was like a big hand happening, and they cut to the weather, and it's not really the weather, but now that's what it's called. And then I started doing it, and then it was like funny, but then Neve didn't know I was joking, and he's like, "Hey man, is it really like bad?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I don't care." And then I did it again. I was like, take this off my screen. And then he's like, bro, I'm serious. I won't do it again.
That's hilarious. That just becomes your bit. Like,
Neve is very literal and dry and just like,
I'm like, no, it's just a joke. But he was just like, he's like, I promise, man, I won't cut to that. I'm like, no, keep cutting.
Keep cutting.
Yeah. And now he
the
gets
bit's
it.
good now. Yeah.
Now the bit's good. I'll need a new one soon, but it'll be good. No, I appreciate it. I mean, I'm quitting anyway, but it is what it is.
That's fine. It's no problem.
All right, Nick. Got any tough questions for me?
Ooh.
Wow.
What do you want to
here we go.
Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah, of course.
Have you ever seen Airplane, the movie? Is that too old for you too? Because that's where that line comes from.
What was Christian's question?
Such a great movie, by the way. We could talk.
Do you remember seeing the movie?
It's a good movie.
Okay.
Let's get the scene where everybody's getting slapped.
Classic.
In the airplane with the inflatable comes
sweat.
up, and the inflatable co-pilot comes up, and he's all sweating in it. Yeah, such a great movie.
How high do you want to rise at MGM? What job would you covet the most? Maybe you're in it.
Also, how do you like your coffee?
Black.
Like you like your men. This is the airplane line.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, my God. I set it up for you. You didn't even dunk it.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that, nor am I saying
it's an airplane line.
I mean, I assume like the what was Bobby's title back then? President
Bobby was
president of like the entire city place, right?
Yeah, so he was the chief construction officer, and I know that sounds funny, but like it basically means he has a big hand in like what the whole building looks like. He was there when the blueprints are being put out, and he had a big part in that of how City Center was built. And then also he wore two hats. I mean, he wore 100 hats, let's be honest. But he was the president and CEO of Aria.
Right.
And that position, like he was at Bellagio at one point. And I mean, Bobby is just ingrained in MGM Resorts. Of course, MGM Resorts birthed from the product that we had with Steve Wynn and MGM Mirage and all that. And then we had, you know, the Mandalay group and the MGM, and then they all combined, and now we have MGM Resorts today. But no, I'm loving what I'm doing right now.
Good.
I'm loving being able to do stuff like this. Like, you know, I'm loving being able to just speak my mind in a certain way and not always have to be, you know, not that you'll ever see me in a suit and tie, and I don't wear ties, but you know, I get to be the poker boss, but I also get to be the everyman, and I think that's what keeps me so rooted in this game, and so, you know, and that's why the players gravitate towards me for things, and I in turn gravitate to, and it's not a perfect world. Yeah. Sometimes I fly off and I say some dumb shit on Twitter, or I, you know.
Yeah, you got to work on that.
Yeah, I got to work on it comparatively to this crowd. Yes,
not this crowd, me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, she's pretty bad too. Not as bad as me. I have another question. Tell me about the evolution of Bobby's Room, Ivy's Room.
I was literally just thinking about
whatever the name is now. Like, tell me why that all changed.
Why the name?
Yeah.
Just the evolution. Like, I want to hear it. Hey, no.
Yo,
so what? It is what it is.
Chill.
I'm not
fucking
giving,
Mayor Soto.
I'm not giving anything away here. And so
come on, man.
So with the Ivy Room, you know, that one was under my purview, and Bobby was still our president at the time.
Wasn't it Bobby's Room first?
Correct. Bobby's Room came first, 100%. Bobby's Room was built in 2005.
Why didn't it stay? Why didn't the name stay?
Bobby left the company.
It's always Bobby's Room.
I understand. And it's, you know, it's one of those things like, do any of us really call it X? No, we still all call it Twitter.
Yeah.
Every player in the
still
world
call it
says
Bobby's
Room and Ivy Room, and I lean into it. I say it too.
Yeah.
And then I'll, you know, do the correct corporate-y thing, and I'll correct my own.
What's it called now?
I mean, it does still.
Bobby's Room is called Legends Room, and the Ivy Room is now called Table One. And the reason why it's called Table One,
that's a great change. What a name you guys came up with. I love that. Who thought of Table One?
Actually, one of our old hosts.
Table One is on.
But
stop it.
There's a reason why. There's history why.
All right.
Because players never came in and said, "Hey, can I get the Ivy Room?"
Mm-hmm.
They came in and said, "Hey, can I get Table One?" And that became like Bobby's Room Table One and the Ivy Room Table One were very special. Doyle and Company, 4,000, 8,000, Table One in Bobby's Room. But in that case, they did call it Bobby's. They never said Table One because there's multiple tables in there too. Where the Ivy Room is one table.
Yeah.
Very exclusive. It's got, you know, it's. You walk in and you feel like you've arrived. Not that you don't at Bobby's Room. Of course you feel like you're right. You look at the pictures on the wall and you're like,
so cool.
I'm playing under Chip Reese. Like that
is actually how I felt the first time I played in there.
I mean, it's
so
like,
cool.
You're just like, wow.
No, really.
Mama, I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, look, Ma, I made it. You know what I mean?
I actually did take a photo of my stack and sent it to like people that I played like when I was like playing 1-2. I was like, bro, I'm playing in Bobby's Room. Like, it's cool.
It's wild.
Crazy.
And the reason the Ivy Room changed the name, we know why it changed the name, and that was whether it's the right move, it was the move we needed to make at the time.
Sure, corporate move. Yeah,
you know, it kind of came to it like, hey, let's not put people's names on the doors anymore,
so we can avoid these decisions.
And you know, and my whole thing, I said, you know, if you're gonna put a name on the door, maybe make sure they're, and this sounds morbid, but maybe make sure they're passed away. And we don't have, you know, nobody's skeletons. We're all alive. I could have skeletons tomorrow. You guys could all have skeletons tomorrow. We could do something bad tomorrow, and our name.
I had them yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. But our name could be irrevocably changed if we did something really bad. So putting your name on a door has risk.
Can we just call it Doyle's Room?
That was a lot. That was the big.
Can we just make it Doyle's Room and end this thing?
The two big ones that were pushed my way was Doyle's Room for Bobby's Room, which is just. Doyle is a brand that is, you know, we would have to go out and like, that's like
ask them permission.
Correct. And like
pay them.
His family, so Todd, of course, owns that brand and everything that comes with it. And not to say that Todd and I couldn't sit in a room and figure something out, but it's one of those things where it is the room of legends. It's all of them. There's not one person you can point to on that wall and say, this room was created for you. I mean, if it was, obviously, if there was one person, it's Bobby, but we obviously pulled that name.
Reese too.
Of course. I mean, Chip was probably the best poker player ever. But, you know, we kind of just made a company position to say, let's take the names off the door. Because the one that I actually brought up for Aria when we took Ivy's name off the door is I said, why don't we call this the Mike Sexton Room?
That would have been cool too,
and
for sure.
The blowback I got, believe it or not, was from the players. who said Mike wasn't a big cash game player.
That's
his
true.
his
It's true,
area's
though.
there. So then it became like it just fell apart really quick. And I tasked my staff. I said, hey, whoever can pick the new name, I like put them in a room for a night and comped a meal or something like that. You know, gave them a good experience. And our host at the time, her name was Elaine, or still is Elaine, of course. She just doesn't work for the company anymore. She works for Poker Go. She just came up with Table One. She's like, everybody calls me and says, hey, is Table One available? Is Table One available? That's what they call it. I'm just like, let's see if it works. I shot up to Bobby. He was like, and we were good. We were good.
I think Table One's a good name.
I think it is too. And I think Legends Room works too. I
think it works.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth. I think it works, but you know, when I look up on Bravo, it still says BBR, and I know what that means.
It's forever going to be Bobby.
Insert Kermit meme, but that's one of my, like it's still there. It's you still feel it. I know it's not like it's not like we took anybody's pictures off the wall.
Of course,
you go in that room and that painting that's on the wall is one of the most recognized poker paintings in the world, and it's
of course
Bobby's room play. It's literally Bobby, Ivy, Jennifer Harmon, Doyle, Chip, Lyle. And actually, a couple of our the guy that used to run the joint is in the face of the dealer, and like one of the other Dalton is actually in the picture. It's hilarious, but it's that room is just, it doesn't matter what you call it. Let's be honest.
It's true. When you walk in and you know, like, been a fan of poker and you know the history, it's the first time you walk in that room, you're like, whoa. Like
there's people that come.
I felt that way
and take photos like when there's nobody in there, and they just come in and take a photo of
course, it's so cool.
The paintings, because it's just
something
it's an
that
iconic
we used
room.
to stop people from doing, and now I'm like, guys, why wouldn't you want them taking pictures? I want this shit on Yelp. I want it on their Facebook page. I want it on their Twitter page.
Of course.
It just makes our brand better.
Yeah.
It's like, and again, everything comes back to these content creators. I want them showing Bellagio, like not the old days where you had to fade that out. The only thing we really tell content creators they can't do
someone's face if they don't want to be in it.
Well, the big three rules would be you can't show anybody's faces unless we create a space where it's like the content creators meetup game or something. That'd be different.
Mm-hmm.
You can't live stream, which would be foolish anyways. Who's going to live stream their whole cards to Twitch and be like, oh, go watch me on Twitch and know that, oh, he's got aces, I fold. That's foolish. But that is a law. So we have to really tell people you can't live stream. And what's the other one? No faces, no live streaming. Oh, no cross promoting other casino brands. We can't have
Fair
that.
enough. Yeah.
So if
Makes
you're going to
sense.
create the content, I don't care if you monetize it. I don't care if it says Brad Owen and stuff like that. It can't say brought to you by Win. It can't say ACR. That's the ones we deal with the most, is people have deals with Ignition or this. And
Makes
I'm like,
sense.
guys, you can't do that. If you do that, you will no longer, your privileges will be revoked. And there's nothing I can do. And why would you ever? If someone came to your building and put the bike on it, like that would be, first, it's low. It's a low
bad
move.
taste.
It's just bad taste. And like, I understand people have deals with people and stuff like that, but we're not the only ones. You know, there are sports stars that have deals with other people, and they'll go into other spaces, but they can't promote it.
Right.
And that's the difference. You can't promote it because you're just cross promoting against us. While we're sitting here, hey, do this. Welcome to our table. All this stuff, and we're welcoming you in to almost. And I will say it, spit in our face. It's like, hey, you know. And I'm not taking anything away from people trying to monetize their content. Hell, if a content creator is making $500 a day and they're making $10,000 tomorrow each day, I love it. Just make more money. Like this Corey kid, he actually posts every time he gets a YouTube check. I love that. It'll be like $6,807.52 added to the bankroll, and it's just like this graph. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And we want those things, but we still have to draw lines in the sand because we're still a big business at the end of, just like Hustler, just like the bike, just like commerce, just like everybody else. We're a big business, and we have to protect the identity. Like you said, the game is bigger than you.
Yeah, 100%.
The identity of that building. Like when I go to work, I don't just represent the poker room. I represent MGM Resorts. If I do something wrong at Bellagio, I'm a representative of the whole building. I represent hotel. I represent casino. I represent food and beverage. And of course, I represent poker. So by extension, when you go into this partnership with us, and that's what I want content creators to know, that it is a true partnership. When you go in this partnership, you have to understand that partners have rules of engagement for each other. This is what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to guarantee you a safe place to play, no cheats, good dealers, blah, 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 all this, you know, and your commitment to me is you're just going to make money with your content. But just don't put a watermark that says Win. I can't have that. And they understand. And Win is no different. WSOP is no different. You guys are no different. Everybody, you got to protect those brands without stepping on the content or the creation. I think we do a good job of it.
Yeah,
You can do a great job.
what do we think? What else you
We're
guys
good.
got? You think we want to wrap it up and go make some sauce?
Yeah.
I think
Some
so.
red sauce,
Yeah,
drink some
sauce,
wine.
some gravy.
some gravy, break some bread with some people.
All right, well, let's do this. Okay, so this is the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci, and for my co-host,
He's gonna do it.
Valerie Brill.
He did it.
He's gonna do it. And
I thought he was going to say Veronica.
Do what?
You introduced me as Veronica a couple times.
I did.
Yeah,
I go
it was
back
great.
And forth. I'm a
Yeah.
toggler. Just like people come up to you and they go, "Oh, hey, Valerie."
What else is he going to do?
And also for our ex-commentator, Christian Soto. It's been a great run.
Weatherman.
No, it was a great run.
Weatherman
Great
extraordinaire.
Paul Campbell, I'm coming.
Yeah, don't know who he is, don't care.
Oh, damn. No, he's
I
cool.
don't. I don't
Wow.
know who
He's-
Paul Campbell is.
Because you're not a tournament guy, but I'm going to tell you, put the
Yeah, tell me.
respect
Go
on
ahead.
this guy.
Go ahead. Get your last bit of words out.
He's a 2-time Global Poker Award-winning tournament director of the year.
You love that. You love the Global Poker Awards.
Oh my gosh.
If there's a Mount Rushmore of tournament directors,
It's
there's
Paul.
only 3 on there.
He's
Well,
great.
God
And
bless
it's
him.
Ethel Savage
Oh, yeah.
and Paul. That's the 3.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I was so
Who would
scared
be
of
the-
Paul when I first met him. I was
He's
like,
a
this guy's
little-
a savage, but he's the nicest
No, he's
person
super
ever.
nice, but he's like
He comes
intense
across-
when he's,
yeah.
when he's
He's intense.
when he's
and
working,
kid is
he's
smart,
intense.
and he knows his shit.
Yeah.
And real quick, I know we're cutting, but I'm
No,
gonna
no,
tell,
we.
I'm gonna
Hey,
tell
dude,
this.
this is we don't. We'll cut again.
I
Just
love
go.
it.
Yeah, I'm not cutting.
But I'm
this
going
out.
to tell this one story because it's a great story.
Let's go.
So in 2015, when I started at Aria, I had a unique opportunity. I don't know if that's the right word, but I had to hire the entire management staff back. And anybody that knows that we had some issues at Aria before I arrived, and the management staff was all let go. And I don't mean the director. I mean like
Everybody.
there were supervisors let go. The tournament manager was let go.
chill.
There was a manager that was go. Just
Everyone wants to
I
know
love
why,
Christian.
man.
operational issues.
Chill, bro. Just
Operational
chill.
What
issues
kind of
that-
operational issues?
Damn, you snitch.
What kind of operational
I mean,
issues?
this is 9 years old. I mean,
Did
it's
you
a
grow up
film.
in the
What kind of
streets?
interview do
Like,
you
what
think
are we
people
doing here?
want?
Were you fighting your way
people
up?
want the 10,000 foot
God
view interview?
damn.
No. What type of operational issues?
Why didn't you call it those?
Go ahead.
Oh, the hot seat is great. No, again, we just had some operational issues and things
love that answer.
went under. Things went unnoticed.
Like, give me one example.
Overcomping players.
Fair enough. Fair
Overcomping
enough.
players.
Okay, that's safe.
And
That's
that is
safe.
I love to comp players. I love to take care of our players where we can.
Yeah.
I know someone at this table I take care of when he comes sees me in town because he's a player with us.
yeah.
And
What do you get?
And thank you,
Soto?
Veronica, for doing that. I appreciate you. There were some operations. So when I came in, they literally cleared out, and I had to hire everybody from scratch. And I had a lot of good talent there in the building, so I was able to promote a lot of people up.
Nice.
But it was weird because we had to go through not just the change of change management as we call it, but also we had to go through a culture change, which was like people quit in the next 90 days that I started because they were just like, Sean's gonna do this, Sean's gonna do that. But look at Aria today; it's one of the best rooms in the world. And the people that stayed there that bought into the vision, it's a great room. So, going back to the story. So I get a call maybe like 3 weeks. No, it wasn't even that long. 3 days after posting my tournament manager position that I needed to hire. And I would be the first person to say, tournaments is my deficiency. I've never actually run a tournament. I've never sat with tournament watch. And so I've never had to. I've always been on the live side. I moved up on that side. I know tournaments. I know the software. I know how to run. I could do it tomorrow, but it's not my forte. And honestly, it's not my passion either, which is okay. I found someone who's the most passionate in the world about it, but I didn't find him because he applied for the job. I get a phone call from Linda Johnson, says, hey, I got this guy, you're hiring him. Not, can you interview him? You are hiring him. And when she said that, of course, I had to take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't matter who the call comes from. I'm like, of course, I'll look into Paul. I know I've seen his work. He used to work for Binions, and believe it or not, Binions just have an awesome tournament series, similar kind of like an Orleans product today.
Yeah, I remember.
And
Wasn't the World Series of Poker at Binions for a while?
yes, but I'm
this
talking
was
after this. This
Okay.
was after this, after they were already at the Rio. And Paul just grew that product. And this is where I will double down. Sometimes it's the people, not the product.
100%.
What is the Binions product for poker today? It's dust. It's completely dust. Why? Because Paul was running that entire operation on both sides, and he just had a passion for it. So I interviewed this guy, and I'm like, all right, he's a little, straight edge and very serious, and you know, but he interviewed well, and I saw it right away. This guy is going to take tournament poker to the next level. And my God,
she was right.
I mean, paid dividends.
Good job, Linda.
He's like that's why I say Paul is one of those dudes. We definitely going to put respect on that name. He has earned it. He has earned a seat at the table. He is him. You know what I mean? He's that guy in tournament poker, and you know I always love, we have the TDA summit coming up in a couple weeks, and we hold that at Aria because we see we make no money off this thing. We lose money, you know, giving away waters and space and all that, whatever. Well, Poker Go gives it away, I guess. But
I'm down 4 waters.
We're
not talking about that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
There's value in these things like the TDA board and stuff to you know, get everybody in room and make sure all the rules, and we've got a bunch this year. We saw Savage and Daniel scream at each other online. I don't know if you guys saw it over tournament rules and stuff like that. And I even posted a GIF where I was just like in the middle of them looking and you know, just watching. And but yeah, these things are important. And Paul sitting on the TDA, he's a TDA board member, which he wasn't when he started at Aria. He's earned those things. He's earned the respect of so many people. So he's one of those guys that I will always speak on. I'm just a fan of his work. I was his boss, and I'm a fan of him. And that I have a lot of people that I work with.
It's like great when the bosses are fans of the.
Yeah, and that's you know, I'm a fan of.
Don't get any ideas. They're smirky.
Oh, we're taking them. I'm a fan. I'm taking.
I don't know what I'm doing. No, he's talking about me, bro. I am so in tune to this
what do you
fucking
mean?
guy.
What are you talking about? I was just giving him credit. I was giving him credit.
That's good job.
You know,
good job. Let's go, Paul. You know.
No. Paul's actually he's exceptional. The one, like, I don't play many tournaments, but when I played a tournament at Poker Girl, I was like, wow, this guy.
You know,
he's
who would
legit.
be a good example to actually compare him to?
Who?
Ryan Feldman. In the zone when he's in the zone.
Yeah.
When he puts on those headphones, doesn't matter who you are. Zoop, zoop, zoop.
Yep.
That's Paul in the tournament room. It's seat open. The card's already picked up. Needs to be done. It's already done. I'm like, how is he doing it? And if he's not doing it, he has a team that is bought into this. Like, I got Aria and that team to buy into the central product. He fine-tuned that buy-in so much further in the tournament space. It's just like, again, Aria had good tournaments. Now they're best in the world.
Awesome.
I'd put that product for like Poker Go, high stakes poker, and all that. I'd put that product against anybody.
Nice.
Even Hustler Casino Live.
Oh, easy. Yeah, we smoke us there, buddy.
All mutual respect. All mutual respect.
Of course. Are we? What else? Come on, we don't have to close this. The world is our oyster.
I thought that was it.
You sure? You guys sure?
Nikki,
you got anything?
No more tough questions. I'm fielding them today.
Oh no!
If I don't eat right now, I'm gonna die.
Ah, okay. All right, then we're closing.
That's a great close.
That is. We know now. We have no choice. All right. This is the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci, and for my co-host Veronica Brill and Christian Soto and Sean, the poker boss McCormack, we thank you for watching.
Envy out.
Envy out.